Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, there's some big stuff coming. Big events that's coming for not only Bitcoin, but altcoins. I decided to look at the calendar of events for altcoins, and there's a lot. There's a lot coming from now to the end of this month. So let's take a look at what's going on in the world of crypto today, and also look at these big events that's coming and why you should pay attention, why you should care. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell. And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and also CryptosRUs.com. All right, guys. Welcome. Welcome. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are too. So let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So let's start out with CMC. CMC is basically exactly the same point as yesterday. Bitcoin is also pretty much exactly the same point as yesterday. Down slightly, but it's about the same. Going sideways. So I know overall news related today is very tame, quiet. So that's why I think it's more important to focus on upcoming events, which there's actually a lot of. There's a lot of. But let me recap real quick. Yesterday I did a whole video about Iron Finance, Titan, Mark Cuban, crash into zero, rug pull, right? Just want to remind you guys that just because some big celebrity, someone coming in and just saying, you know what, I love this project, I'm doing yield farming, and it's just making me insane returns, right? Be careful. A lot of these projects are just unknown. They're so new, they're not audited, and you really don't know about the leadership. I know Mark is very enthusiastic now about DeFi and Polygon, and he wants to go all in. But it seems like he kind of fell into a trap, like so many other new people into the space. They find something, they go, kind of all in, and then they get rug pulled. So it's an important lesson. It's an important lesson. So not to wish this upon anyone, but you just got to be careful and do your own homework. All right, so let's get off of this. Yesterday, I think the biggest friend to Bitcoin at this point is actually Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve. So, this was going on yesterday. Stock markets took a dip yesterday. Just taking a dip today again, based on what he said. And he's admitted that inflation is actually rising faster than he expected. Faster than he expected. In fact, the whole point, faster. So he saw that inflation for last month was about 3.4% rather than 2.4%. So he is recognizing that inflation is real, and it's time to move up the timeline for a rate hike. Sorry, but that's not gonna come until 2023. Originally, the plan was to move up interest in 2024. Now he's saying that he may do it in 2023, which means for the next 2 years, from now to 2023, there's basically still going to be like no change at all. But markets are reacting. So they think that this is going to hurt the economy, obviously, and so forth. That's why the market is not doing so well. It's not doing so well, and this could have effect on crypto right now. But why I think Jerome Powell is the biggest friend for Bitcoin right now is because with inflation going higher, right? With Federal Reserves continuing to buy billions of junk bonds and bailing out probably companies they shouldn't, and we still know that there's trillions being printed that's given out, right? All this adds up to the dollar devaluing, the inflation scenario that many people are predicting will come, looking like it is already here, and it's only going to get worse, right? And this helps Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the new hedge against inflation, a new store of value, the alternative to gold that so many people are flocking to. So I think this is actually very positive for us Bitcoin holders. This is a very strong endorsement to keep holding Bitcoin and keep buying Bitcoin, because inflation is real and it's escalating, and all the data that's out there shows that this is actually the worst inflation, the quickest rise since World War II, not even back in 2008. This is the quickest since World War II, which is not a good statistic to have. So yeah, so that happened yesterday. Of course, you have guys like Jim Cramer, which says that, you know what, don't be scared. What you should do is stay the course and continue to buy stocks. Well, in his case, stocks for cheap, right? When they're being sold, they're bargains. Buy up stocks. Well, I agree with that, except I would say buy up crypto. Buy up Bitcoin, buy up crypto, because while things are low, while things are at a discount, that's when you need to buy. That's when you need to buy. That's why I think it's important to look at these upcoming events, because there are a lot of big ones that's coming that could really change things. That could really change things. All right, before I get to that, oh, did I miss something? I don't know, Joshua, because most of the crypto community is not from Spain. Maybe that's why. I don't know. All right. On CryptosRUs.com this morning, this was posted. Well, more news on El Salvador. So we know that they're transitioning to Bitcoin, right? This is actually a perfect time to do so, because El Salvador right now, their other legal tender is the USD, and they are getting help from the IMF and World Bank. Well, help, or they're basically at their mercy right now. So we know that President Nayib recently said that he's going to go embrace in Bitcoin, and he wants to convert everything and basically make Bitcoin legal tender. So he asked the World Bank, hey, how about you help us with this? How about you help us, adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender and help us with the infrastructure and everything else that requires, everything else that needs to be done for this, right? And of course, the World Bank said, no, we're not going to help you with that. It's the same thing. I bet if they ask the IMF, of course, they're going to say no. So it's, it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things. Like, when you're at the mercy of someone, they can play it off like they're friendly, they're going to help you. But when you ask them to do something besides giving you more money and putting you more in their control, right? They're not going to help you. Just like you go to a bank, you give them a story about how you need help and you need them to do something for you. They're going to say, no. Do you want money from us? That's what we want. That's all we care about, because we have you under our grasp if you take money from us, and we get to charge you high interest rates. That's all they care about. And that's the same thing with World Bank with countries, just not individual investors. They care about countries borrowing money from them, right? So this is not a surprise, but I'm actually surprised that El Salvador even asked them. So I don't know. Maybe they just thought, maybe they thought they would, or this was just them trolling. I don't know. McLaren, of course, if you guys are into exotic cars, you have Ferrari, Lambo, and McLaren is getting into NFTs. And what's interesting, this is going to be on Tezos. People keep asking me about Tezos, and I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't paid much attention to them. They've been staying quiet, but I do know that they are getting into DeFi and NFTs, and McLaren chooses to build their NFT platform on Tezos. All right, what else is there? Goldman Sachs, one of the major banks out there, proceeds with Ethereum futures and options. So again, these banks, they tell you one thing, they tell you there's no interest, no one wants it, and it's still highly speculative and all this stuff. Yet they continue to offer more and more and more services around crypto. So again, it definitely shows there is interest, there is institutional interest, there's just interest overall, and that's why it's not gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. All right, I see a lot of. Someone says talks about McLaren, but this is Ferrari. That's actually true. Good pickup. Good pickup. All right. So let's get to. So that's pretty much the news, the light news day. But let's look at CoinMarketCap. This is a great source of upcoming events. This is user submitted. And, it's just really good. You could sort it by top 100, top 10, top 300. You could sort it by just DeFi. You could put it individual projects. But this gives you a good overview of what's coming. So I sorted by top 100 for the next 30 days. But really just, major events that's happening between now and end of June. And there's actually quite a lot. There's actually quite a lot. A few that I want to point out, but there's also in here a lot that of projects I don't really cover, but there is a lot going on. So obviously Chili's is being added to several exchanges, including Coinbase. You have Chainlink that's going to do a live AMM. Aave is going to some super thing. You got AMP that's going to be listed on Bitmart, but AMP obviously was listed on Coinbase. That really pumped them up recently. ICP is being listed on, I still don't know how to pronounce that, Wazirk, which is a Binance-owned Indian exchange. So some of you guys are into ICP. Even Shiba is having some kind of stake protocol airdrop, right? I haven't paid much attention to Shiba, but this is a big thing. Binance is launching their NFT marketplace. Okay, we know that Binance Smart Chain right now, the only thing they really lack is a big NFT, like a premier NFT marketplace. Right now, Bakery Swap is kind of filling that role, but they're still relatively small. So I'm talking about like something like OpenSea for Ethereum. There's nothing like that for Binance Smart Chain. So can this be that? It's very hyped up right now. We'll see. But that is coming, within the next week, right? So this could be a big thing for Binance Coin and, of course, Binance Smart Chain. What else is going on? I'm just looking at the chats, making sure I don't miss anything. Mr. Bondo, I'll talk about the death cross, but don't scare yourself with it. It's a lagging indicator. A lot of times Bitcoin pumps after having a death cross, if it happens to actually occur. All right, moving on to page 2, PancakeSwap is coming out there V2 pretty soon. You have VeChain. You have this Sync 2 and Connect 2. Not sure what that is. Let's take a look at it real quick. Starting today, VeChain core team will publicize the code base of Sync 2 Connect 2. The alpha testing stage. Okay. And the beta version will be Q2. Okay, so they're coming out. They're in alpha. They're coming out with the beta pretty soon. Okay. I'm not sure what they are. That's actually kind of interesting. I haven't paid attention to that, so I'm going to have to look that up afterwards. Here's a big one, of course. Theta is coming out mainnet 3.0. I've been talking about this quite a bit. That is coming out later this month, and they're going to introduce new features, T-Fuel staking, elite edge nodes, NFT marketplace. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming for that. Celsius is being integrated with Cody. So this is a big thing too. So pretty soon inside Cody, with their Cody Pay app, You'll be able to basically stake directly into Celsius. That's a pretty big thing. I don't know if that automatically means AdaPay will be integrated with Celsius too, because AdaPay is based on Cody. So I don't know if that's how it works. You have a whole bunch of SaveMoon stuff, which I'm just going to ignore right now. Chili's is launching their new UFC token. That's also pretty big. Besides just football clubs, now they're branching out and they're going to be releasing their UFC tokens. That's going to be pretty big. That's coming up end of this month too. Now, what else is there? Harmony, this is talking about their ERC20 asset swaps with their bridge. But they already have their bridge out already. So I think this came a little bit earlier than before. So they do have, Harmony already have the ERC20 bridge, a Binance Smart Chain bridge, Ethereum bridge, kind of all in one. Qtum is having a Janus release. Not sure what that's about. Theta Network and T-Fuel, yes. There is an app for Ledger and Treasure that's coming out for Theta. That's pretty positive. And let's go to page 3. Page 3, Telcoin. Telcoin releasing, this is also pretty big. They're releasing their new app, V3. So right now they're V2. I don't know what kind of improvements, but Telcoin has been really, really, really hot in the remittance game recently. I mean, not recently. Been in a remittance game for a while, but within the last, 5 months, they have been absolutely killing it. So V3 could definitely help them even more. Avalanche is go integrate with Orion. Orion protocol is a DEX and a central exchange aggregator where you can trade, and they have a fancy terminal. So they're going to be integrating with Orion. Here's another big one, a very, very, very big one, and that is Cosmos. And I've been talking about this with you guys. Cosmos, I believe, is one of the most underrated chains out there. They are going to be releasing their very highly anticipated Gravity Bridge, which, I'm sorry. This is not right. It's supposed to be the Gravity Dex, not Gravity Bridge. So I read that wrong, but it is, the Gravity Dex is coming. And the Gravity Bridge, I read, was behind Gravity Dex, but maybe they come out at the same time. But the whole purpose of the Gravity Dex and the bridge, the Dex will basically allow any token within the Cosmos ecosystem to be traded, to be swapped. You don't need any other bridge to connect them, which means Binance Coin, like BNB, which is riding on top of Binance Smart Chain, and all these other Binance Smart Chain tokens, right, will be able to be swapped with any other token within the Cosmos ecosystem, and that could include various other tokens. So it's going to be a very unique DEX, and then also the bridge will then bridge in ERC20 tokens too, so that DEX will have all the ERC20 stuff and all the BSC stuff and the Cosmos stuff. It's going to be big. So the DEX and the bridge is also coming. I think that's going to help them even more. Going down the list, I talked about the NFTs earlier with Theta. Yeah, this is also the same thing. It's called Theta Drop, basically this new NFT marketplace. I was talking to him about it. I don't know if we're going to do something, right? So hopefully we could do something. Or I've been talking with with the other project I've been working with, Rally. They helped me create Georgecoin, but they're also coming out with the NFT, so maybe I'll do something with them instead. And Hedera has a few things. I remember looking at this. They have a ton of stuff that's coming out. Yep, they have state proofs and all these things. The only problem is a lot of this stuff was pulled like very early on. So I don't know if the timeline is still correct, but it seems that Hedera has a ton of stuff that they're trying to release in Q2. And I don't know if they're all coming at the same time, but there is a lot listed. Something else that's very interesting that I missed before, and that should be coming by the end of this month, if not early July, and that is validators and native staking is coming to Helium. This is a project I covered a few months ago. It's all about low power, creating a mesh low power network. Basically, you have these miners, basically antennas that you just put on your window, and if anyone happens to be in the area and they use your network services, you get rewarded in Helium. But now they have a beta, but they're going to release their mainnet, which will allow you to basically stake and create your own node, right? And be a validator. So that is also coming. That's going to be a big thing for Helium. I actually didn't pick that up until I glanced at this earlier. So that could be a very big thing for them. And they have several other stuff that's listed. And I think that's it. Going to page 6. Ethereum Classic is having their network upgrade. I covered this yesterday. People were asking about it. There wasn't any really big deal. It seems like they were just trying to upgrade to make themselves more compatible with Ethereum and all the Ethereum improvement protocols. The previous upgrades will be added to Ethereum Classic, and they're just making themselves more compatible. But I didn't see anything else. That was any new features that was going to be added, but that's coming also for Ethereum Classic. All right, that's pretty much it. I mean, besides what I covered, there was a lot more. Obviously, if you guys want to look at more stuff, check out CoinMarketCap. It's pretty good. All right, that's pretty much it. So a lot of big events, especially with the projects that I've been supporting for a while. The ones I like, there's actually a lot of big stuff coming. So got to pay attention. All right, guys. Someone asked about this. You know what? There's way too many lines here. I'm going to remove this. There's a lot of people that's focused on this right now. And I've covered this before. People right now are looking for ways to sell. That's what I think. I think the non-holders, the people that got in early, they don't really care about this. Like me. You know, the name of the game is to buy low, sell high, and hold them. And I don't believe the bull run is anywhere near over. I don't believe the top has already been made. No. But there's a lot of new people that think otherwise. They keep looking at things that basically tells them, hey, go sell, right? And I think this is one of them. So a lot of people is now talking about the death cross rather than Wyckoff. You know, just like a few weeks ago, everyone was talking about Wyckoff, and now that's been invalidated. Now everyone's trying to focus on its death cross. But you know what? Death cross is not the end of the world. And there's been many times where, like this, if a death cross happens, right afterwards, you actually have a good rally, because a death cross is actually, all these things are lagging indicators. So if they happen, right, if there's a steep sell-off like this, actually that means the worst is over. That means you're in recovery mode. So because the death cross is measuring the 50 and 200 day moving average, if you have a sudden drop like this, right, of course, the averages don't catch up right away. And by the time they do, you're already in recovery mode. So if you would have sold March 26 of 2020 because a death cross occurred, guess what? You would have missed out on all of this. All of this, right? So just because a death cross happens does not necessarily mean that it's the end. It's bad, right? Again, the last time death cross happened on a day chart, Bitcoin went up several hundred or thousands of percents. So right now people are paying attention to this. And people educated me. For a true death cross to happen, it's not just that the 50 has to break below the 200. It's also that both of the momentum, both of the trend lines are actually heading down. Right now, you could see that the 200 is still heading up. The 200 is not coming down. So technically, this is, even if it does happen, it's not a true death cross. And if it does happen, and even if the fancy indicators mention it's a death cross, doesn't mean anything. It could certainly just turn right around. Bitcoin is not driven by TA. Bitcoin is not driven by past. Bitcoin is driven by by simply people that want to buy it, right? And buy it and hold it. And basically, as the supply decreases, that's why Bitcoin goes up. It gets more scarce, right? So you have to look at why people will want to buy Bitcoin. And I've been telling you guys all the reasons why people want to buy Bitcoin, especially Powell and inflation and everything else that's going on around the world, right? Inflation is a real thing. That fiat devaluation is a real thing. And you know what? As time goes on, we're going to see some real side effects of this. I would say we already are. Look at all the assets around the world, right? Real estate, crypto, stocks, anything, anything that's an asset have gone up hundreds of thousands of percent. Even basketball cards. I'm into basketball cards too. They have gone up skyrocketed, right? Because people know they rather spend money on an asset than keep their money, right? So if you look at fundamental things like this, and of course, countries adopting Bitcoin, public trade companies like MicroStrategy that continue to buy more and more Bitcoin, institutions that are still getting involved, which is why you have banks that's offering Ethereum futures and options, right? And offering Bitcoin funds, and there's Bitcoin ETFs, right? So you look at all these reasons, look at all these things that's happening, right? The demand is not going to go away anytime soon. And as people are buying, and the supply is decreasing, and it's getting more scarce with every single halving event, right? So Bitcoin is not driven by this. It's not. Bitcoin is driven by everything else I've said. So stop trying to scare yourselves into thinking, oh, this means that Bitcoin is done, it's going to drop to whatever, and the bull run is over. No. That's not what it means at all. This is why I don't like to cover things like this, because it just makes people, gives people another reason to sell. People love to create doubt and FUD. Most people sell because the FUD is self-driven, basically. They hear things and then they keep wanting to believe it, and then they find more reasons to cause more FUD, and then eventually they sell. So that's why crypto is not for everyone, but for people that are in it, you got to focus long term. Focus on investing for long haul, for life-changing wealth and financial freedom. All right. With that said, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Let's do some Q&A. Jesus, thank you. Darren asks, how do you get financial freedom if you just hold? Ask anyone that held within the last 3 years. Then you'll get your answer, because they're the multimillionaires of today. It's as easy as that. It's with anything, even with stocks. Even look at all the billionaire investors and multimillionaire investors. Do you think they became that way by day trading? No. They bought into projects they believe in, and bought into companies they believe in, and they held. It works the same way with crypto, except crypto is a lot more volatile, a lot more up and downs. But anyone that's held for more than a year, they're up thousands of percent, even though there's been a lot of up and downs within the last year or so. It's really that simple. Let me scroll up a little bit. Does market cap, circulating supply, and max supply determine where the price of a project is going, or there's more on play than just the stats? Yeah, when a project comes out in terms of like the total supply, circulating supply, max supply, whether there's a set supply or it's inflationary, all that is determined by the project up front, right? But ultimately, you don't want to confuse a project based on the dollar value of each token, because all of that is very different, right? So many newcomers in the space will say, well, XRP, why can't XRP go up to $38,000? Well, because there's a lot more of it. The circulating supply is way higher than the circulating supply of Bitcoin, right? Or total supply, I should say. So don't judge something just based on like the price of a token. Solana to number 10, 9. Solana belongs to the top 10. That's for sure. It does. I think they have a great economy. A lot of DeFi stuff coming on board. So yeah. Ahmad says, I bought most of my crypto in January, February. Do you think it's better to sell most of my crypto when prices increase again and then DCA when the bear market comes and all prices go down? Of course. As we go into the latter half, which I believe towards the very tail end, like October, November, December, I think we're going to see what we saw back in 2017 and 13, which is an astronomical pump for Bitcoin and altcoins. That's how most cycles end. They don't end in mid-year of the last year. That's just, it doesn't. But however, with that said, when you see something like that, then you just want to take profits. You take profits on the way up, right? No one knows truly when the top is coming. This cycle is a little bit different, obviously, because all the inflation woes and institutions getting in. So it's very different. The cycle may not top out. There could be another sell-off event, 50, 60%, but there might not be another 85% crypto winter because of what we're seeing right now. So we'll just have to see it at the tail end of this year. Update on Altora NFT. They've been doing very well. They launched their mainnet July 4th. They're launching their mainnet July 4th. Okay. Yeah, I looked at them the other day. Small cap. Star-Lord. Morpheus Labs. You mean Morpheus Network, right? So they're in the supply chain space. They really help with logistics of shippers and their cargo, and they're trying to make sure what happened to the Suez Canal, where somehow a boat got stuck and no one knows what to do afterwards, right? They're trying to prevent that so that you could track things better, you can notify better, you can do a whole lot of things with supply chain better. So interesting project, and they happen to be one of my partners. What else did I miss anything else? See, these super chats get out of order, so that's why sometimes I miss them too. Mark asks, any thoughts on reserve rights big name investors actually use in Venezuela? Actually use is a loose term. Anything could be used, but it's a widely used. RSR is a stable coin. It's a stable coin that's pegged by other stable coins, and ultimately it's used as a payment system. I would argue like Dash is probably more used than RSR in Venezuela. I mean, it's just not something I'm very particularly interested in. Oh, I forgot. Someone mentioned about Anchor. Anchor also got added today to Gemini. Gemini added a few. Oh, I know. They didn't get added. I thought they did. Yeah, they did. Gemini added Anchor, Phantom. I mentioned a lot about that. Mirror, and what's this? I don't know what this is. ALCX. I'm not sure. But Gemini, just like Coinbase, they've been upping their the the projects. So just thought I should mention that. Thoughts on Sushi Swap? I think they're still good. I mean, they've moved to many chains. They're compatible with many chains, and they're still the second biggest, I believe, AMM um, on Ethereum. So, and they partner up with Yearn, not partner up, they merge with Yearn, and I think they're still good play. I still think they're good play. Rachel asks, do you just dollar cost average and hold? Do you ever trade alt sometimes? Yeah, I do. Especially if I want to balance out my portfolio for good and bad. I generally say stick with 50, 25, 25, 50% Bitcoin, 25% big caps, 25% in small caps. And, sometimes it gets out of whack, right? Like big caps either go up too much, or small caps go up too much, or small caps go down too much. Sometimes I just have to rebalance, right? So sometimes, yeah. But, if you want to, I think this is a better strategy, and many will probably disagree with me. But if you find a good project, and let's say you bought in and it goes down, right? Naturally, your first instinct is like, oh, I made a mistake. I should just sell it, cut my losses, right? But what I like to do instead is if I know that it's a good project, especially one that is a big cap or a mid cap that has been around forever and has such a loyal following, and they continue to execute, and I know they're not going to go anywhere. I rather dollar cost average and buy a little more at low, so that my average price is now lower, so that if the project comes back up, then I'm in green, and I didn't have to sell my original investment, right? So that's how I like to do it. Deeper network. I think that's a privacy play, right? I think I looked at it once and I forgot what it was about. Let's see. Oh no, this is like the VPN play. Yeah, it's like a decentralized VPN. Well, exactly. Yeah, but they call it private network. Something like this could work. It's just that these are just too early. You need to have a ton of nodes out there. You need to have a ton of people utilizing it, right? And I don't know, something like this isn't very isn't considered very sexy. So what does that mean? That means not a whole lot of people is going to be paying attention to it. So yeah, I have looked at that before. It's okay. DJ asks, why do you dislike BCH and Roger Ver so much? I wish he comes back to Bitcoin, because he did so much for Bitcoin early on, and then he caused a contentious fork with Jihuan Wu of Bitmain because they thought they had all the power. They thought they were above Bitcoin. That's why they forced the contentious fork into Bitcoin Cash, which is now a project and a coin that no one uses. So they caused that. Rather than work with the community, they chose to do a contentious fork. And then he felt what that was like when Craig Wright did it with Bitcoin SV. So so yeah, that's why I don't like him. I I I have nothing against him. I just don't like what he did. I wish that he would give on Bitcoin Cash and come back to Bitcoin, We need more people to endorse and support Bitcoin rather than an altcoin that's competing with Bitcoin. PokerSwap, I haven't used it before. Can't really comment on it. What do you think about Doc, another supply chain space? I already hold VeChain. There's a few. I don't think I looked into Doc before, but let's see. I know T Foods and Origin Trail, they're also supply chain space. I mentioned Morpheus Network, they're in supply chain space. So some of these are like more specialized in supply chain, not all encompassing. VeChain is kind of like all encompassing, but there are ones that are more niche focused, like T Foods is more foods, right? And Morpheus is more like containers and cargo. Doc, this doesn't look like a supply chain space at all. Build, discover, issue credentials. Okay, so it's like a business thing. No, it's more like an ID play, like kind of like a business ID verification play. What does that have to do with supply chain, Matt? All right, what else am I missing here? I gotta scroll up a little bit. James says, follow your 50-25-25 rule. I think I'm over diversified 16 coins. Should I dollar cost average down my smaller alts? Now they are cheap, or DCA into bigger caps? I mean, again, it depends on if your portfolio is still following that. If it's out of whack, right, you could dollar cost average into smaller caps, which could be a very good thing when they come back, right? But right now, I would say big caps definitely has a lot more strength. Well, there's a reason why they're a big cap, right? But big caps tend to recover faster. They also do very well, and they hold much better than mid or small caps when things go down too. So right now, I've been saying that the ones I've been dollar cost averaging in has been primarily big caps, but that doesn't mean that the small caps, especially the good ones, can't come back. They go down faster, yes, but they also can come back quite quickly. Homer asks, if ADA hits ETH's market cap of 300 billion, will only be at $9 or fundamentally different. It's just simple math. It's just, you just take this supply and you times it, or you divide it by 300 billion. And then whatever that comes out to be. If it's $9, then it's $9. It's just that simple. This is, the market cap is just derived by circulating supply times price. That's it. So if you want to calculate how much ADA would be at, 300 billion, let's just say 300 divided by 47, that's 6.38 times 1.46. Yeah, it'll be $9.33. That's basically roughly what it'll be. Can you speak to what happened to Iron Finance and Titan token? I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that there was some kind of, something happened with the liquidity, and somehow it got drained. So people started panicking, people started selling, and then it basically crashed down to zero. I don't know if it's been reported exactly what happened, whether or not it's a vulnerability or a hack, or one of the founders stole all the money. I don't think that's been released yet, but I mean, that can happen. That can happen. It happens in crypto all the time, right? That's why you have to be careful. You have to be very careful in terms of what you invest in. You just don't know. Randy just had a bad day. I was doing Iron Finance, was up 100K, and then I lost that along with another 150K yesterday. It was not a fun day. Did you put another 150K into Iron Finance? I don't get that other part. That's massive. That's a massive loss. I feel you, but I don't get the second part. Did you try to rebuy back in or something? You mentioned you got banned from Coinbase. I have no idea. I used Coinbase back in 2013, right? I was mining Litecoin then. I converted everything to Bitcoin. I put into Coinbase, and I think I bought some stuff. I forgot what I bought back in the day. And then when I came back in 2017, I tried to log in. They're like, "Oh, you got banned," and they have not given me an answer why, and they refuse to give it back to me. So that's kind of the thing with Coinbase. It's like their customer service just really sucks. Phil says Iron Finance seems to be a coding error with their oracles and a bank run, not a rug pull. Well, that's not any better. That's just incompetence, I guess. Rather than being scammers, it's just incompetence. Do you think we will have NFT craze again? Yes. I don't think NFTs will go away anytime soon. It's just oversaturated right now. The market's weaker, but yes, it's definitely going to come back. How likely do you think BTC hits 110K, ETH hits 10K? I think it's very likely. I think BTC going 6 figures is very, very likely. And if that happens, Ethereum going to 10K, yes, very likely indeed. All right, last few questions. I'm going to go. I do like Ecomi. I invited them to my conference, but they're one of the premier NFT marketplaces with a lot of licensing. So I think they're going to do very well. And Elastos looks like Elastos is the old project. Yeah, they had some intention before. They just lost it. No one's really paying attention to Elastos anymore these days. All right, guys. That's pretty much it. Overall, I think it's important to focus on the future. And right now, we know Bitcoin is kind of stuck in a rut right now. But you know what? Inflation is a real thing. It's not going to go away. And people are putting money into hard assets. They're trying to protect themselves against inflation, protect their buying power from decreasing, right? So I think going forward, this is going to be a big issue. The Fed, Powell, and not only the U.S., all the countries around the world are trying to prepare for it. So as this is happening, more and more people is turning to Bitcoin. So focus on the bigger picture, the long term. And there's a lot of terrific altcoins that are still executing. I showed you guys what's coming up with a lot of these altcoins. There's a lot of big things happening within the next few weeks, so pay attention. There could be some movement because of it. But even if there isn't, these altcoins show you that they're here to stay and they're building. They continue to build, and you know what? Those are the projects you want to be invested in. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you haven't checked out my website, CryptosRUs.com, make sure you do so. Oh, look at that. The first ever real estate NFT sold. New article up. Check it out. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care.